Good afternoon. This is the presentation of the final project for the subject Education in International Context in the Master in International Education and Bilingualism. So the topic that I choose is the challenge of international mindedness education, and what I want to explore in this study, it's a little bit on what is this concept of international mindedness and how this applies to us in education nowadays. So the first thing that I would like to see is what is the role of education nowadays. This is what we parents or teachers or society in general expects from education. So we are preparing students to create a better world. We prepare students to be curious, to be global citizens, to be critical, to respect and understand others' cultures. Those are big goals that we want the students to reach, and if we want them to reach them all, we need to focus on international mindedness. Before to talk about international mindedness, I would like to define a little bit what is global citizenship. It is complicated to define what is to be a global citizen, but what we can assure is that in a world where globalization it's a word of the year, and where people is moving around, where all our cities are full by people from different races and different religions. Being a global citizen is feeling or believing that the local community is not enough, or that you belong to something bigger than a local community. So if we look at the IB says that they encourage students to develop their emerging sense of self and responsibility in their community. And this is important because if we want to understand global issues, we need to first understand our local issues. So as I was saying before, this changing world where globalization happen, the interest in international mindedness, in being a global citizen, has increased a lot during the past few years. So it was not until the 1960s where the International School of Geneva was created, and that was the first moment where an idea of a global citizen was put into education. The international mindedness doesn't have only one phase, because what we can be considering as a global process or something global in a country that could be local in another. So it's basically what I was saying before of having knowledge about what happens in local to be able to understand what happens in the global, and to be able to see the same thing from different perspectives. If we look at the IB encourages this international mindedness, and it's a part of its curriculum in the 4 programs that they offer. So basically, students from the age of 3 to the age of 19 will be assessed, will be given tools to develop this international mindedness. The 3 pillars on what IB aligns and on what IB relies in terms of international mindedness is it tries to develop multilingual communication. So taking one of the 3 main languages on the IB, English, French, and Spanish, apart from the main language of instruction that will be one of those. And the IB includes on the program to have another extra language since a younger age. The appreciations of our own culture, that's something that the IB also promotes, and it promotes through different aspects of the program, and also the exploration of concepts. The exploration of concepts is something that apparently wouldn't be connected to international mindedness, but the idea of having concepts and that those concepts can be extrapolated to different subjects, that helps also to make connections between not only the subjects, because it helps also to make connections to different parts or different perspectives from the world. What it's important about the international mindedness is that international mindedness shouldn't be a destination, because international mindedness should be a journey. That's international mindedness is something that students need to adopt, need to work on it, and that's something that the students will be able to bring on their for their own lives. Students who are who are global citizens will be more flexible, will be more willing to relocate and to have international mobility, and this is a characteristic that future workers will need to have in this world. In order to assess if it's difficult to define international mindedness, it is also really difficult to assess it. But especially I would say more than assess it, I would say create it. So in the IBE, what the program does is to try to introduce this international mindedness throughout all the program. So with written assignments, with discussions, with papers, and it will come up to approach a different topic from a different perspective. It also has in the DP, for example, it has the CAS program where students will be applying their knowledge to improve their community. In the personal project, they will be the same. They will choose a topic and they will be looking at it from different perspective. Or in the community service, same as the CAS, they will need to help to improve their community, because that will be that will make their community better, and for instance the world better. Another point that works in favor of international mindedness are the global context in the NYP, because we can be looking at, for example, globalization, sustainability, which would be exactly that, taking a look on global processes that affect local processes that affect global processes. These are two interesting quotes that about that there is no plan B because there is no planet B, and that global education is education that opens people's eyes and minds to the realities of the world and awakens them to bring about a world of greatest justice, equity, and human rights for all. Basically, as we want better citizens, that's a challenge that we have. We need to create these opportunities for students to improve their local community, because that local community will push the global community as well. And this is a compromise that should be taken by not only students but also parents and schools. Getting parents involved will develop also them as a global citizen, and will improve the generations and will end up with a better world. Thank you very much.